Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Inside the Vinyl. I'm your host, Tim Bianconi. If you would, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel below. That would be appreciated. If you could hit that notification bell so you could be notified anytime we put out new content, that would be appreciated also. So this time, I don't necessarily have a theme for this. It's not a Lost Classic, it's not a live album series or unboxing or anything else. I just want to talk about my recent trip to Hendersonville as well as Asheville, North Carolina, and just the great amount of record stores they have around there, and just show you some of the things that I picked up while I was there. So the first place we went to was a place called Citizen Vinyl. It is over in the Asheville downtown district. This place is really cool because they've got you can take a tour, and they have a full recording studio upstairs, and then downstairs they're one of 29 vinyl pressing companies in America. They have a manual press, they have an automated press, and from what they told us the other day, they've received a third vinyl pressing, to meet the demand currently for vinyl albums. So that's really cool. And from what I understand, they mostly do like regional stuff, like maybe local North Carolina and South Carolina acts that can maybe only afford to do the 300 to 500 album run. As opposed to the bigger record labels and stuff. However, when something like, say, a new Adele album or something comes out, they, along with the 28 other presses in the country, all get, pulled in to, help get those records, those new albums pressed. So again, really cool. I'll try to put some pictures up here, maybe even a video of the vinyl press. But the first album I bought was by a local group. So, I wanted something, I thought it would be really cool to have an album that was actually pressed at Citizen Vinyl, at their record press. So I looked up there, and some of the stuff, they had available was a little more in the bluegrass realm. Not really my thing, but I picked up this group called the Paper Crowns. And I listened to them, just a little bit, like on Amazon or somewhere before I picked up the record. And I did hear, and I don't remember the name of this, I think it was Mississippi. I heard a song that almost had a very like Sweet Home Alabama, very Skinner-ish kind of intro, very Southern rock kind of thing. Now the rest of the album isn't so much of that. There is a lot of different guitar, acoustic guitar, stuff that almost sounds maybe like not ukulele, but maybe banjo-ish a little bit. Banjo. Okay, I do see some different things on here. But it's a husband and wife group out of Asheville. They both sing. As far as I can tell, it looks like they both, play, multiple instruments. It looks like they pretty much did almost everything on this album. If they didn't do everything, it looked like they did. There's a couple other names on here, but for the most part, it was the husband and wife doing everything. But again, fantastic album. Me and my wife listened to this yesterday. We were thinking like this would be a really, really cool band to see in like a small venue in Asheville somewhere. So if you're up there, check them out, the Paper Crowns. You can find their music. I think it's on most streaming formats. I bought a digital version of this off iTunes last night. So they're everywhere that you get your music. But again, check them out, Paper Crowns. Really, really cool stuff. Again, a little bit out of the realm of the classic rock and metal and stuff that I cover on here, but I do like a lot of different kinds of music. So, Citizen Vinyl also has a record store, and last time I was there a few months ago, I actually picked up an original issue Saigon Kick first album that I thought was really, really cool. And then the funny part about it is when I went back this time, early March 2022. They actually had the reissue record store day version of the Saigon Kick debut album. So I was like, I thought that was a little funny. I was like, how do they keep getting that particular album in here in different formats? But they do have a record store, and while I was in there, I was also able to pick up this classic. This would be Metallica's Master of Puppets. Now, this is not like an original issue. This is the blackened, when they left Warner, or when they left Elektra and distributed everything on their own. This is the blackened label version, remastered version of Master of Puppets. So very, very cool. And then from there, if you're ever in downtown Asheville, they've got a lot of different record stores. There's Harvest Records, there's Static Age Records, there's Voltage Records, and I don't know if I'm missing somebody, but I picked this one up. I went into all of them because that's just what I do. When I went into Static Age Records, want to give you guys a shout out. I didn't buy anything there, but they had a lot of cool stuff. Problem with me is I have a pretty enormous record collection. So sometimes I go into a record store and they have a fantastic selection, but most of the stuff that they have that I would want, I already have. So that's where things get a little bit difficult when your record collection gets out of hand. They did have a reissue of Guar's Scum Dogs of the Universe. I fought the urge to buy that, but if you're looking for that album, go to Static Age Records. They had one there. It was really cool. So, shout out to those guys. Great record store, great environment. But I went over to Voltage and I picked up so I'm a huge fan of this band called Skeleton Witch. I do have a video of one of their, a lost classic of one of their albums out there on my channel. But there's a couple of their early albums that I don't have, that I've never seen on vinyl, like at least seen with my own eyes anywhere. But I saw this at Voltage Records and had to have it. So this is Skeleton Witch's second record, Beyond the Permafrost. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this came out in 2007. Fantastic album if you're into thrash metal with death metal vocals. This is a band you need to check out. Their first 5 records are absolutely amazing, and each one just progresses. It gets better and better and better and better. So, that was what I got in Nashville. So where we actually stayed was in Hendersonville, which is just outside. I think it's just south of Asheville. And, they have a really cool record store there too. I think it used to be called Ken's Hi-Fi Clinic, but now it's called Classic Audio and Vinyl. Let me just make sure I'm good with the name on that. Oops. Let's see. Yeah, Classic Audio and Vinyl, but it used to be Ken's Hi-Fi Clinic. It's over there on Asheville Highway in Hendersonville. And while I was in there, I was pretty stoked. Very organized store. They've got all sorts of, like hard to find stuff lining the walls at various prices and all that. Lots of cool stuff. And then the rest of the store is organized very well. So as I was thumbing through, I do have some bucket list items, albums that I really, really want to have, or albums that I need to complete a collection or whatever. And I was able to cross off like really 3, if you think about it there. So the first one I found that I thought was pretty cool was a Whitesnake album. So this was the only of the late 70s and 80s Whitesnake output that I don't have on vinyl. This is their 1982 album called Saints and Sinners. This album actually includes the original version of Here I Go Again. Very different sonically, I guess, than the 1987 version that everybody knows and loves. It's a little more stripped down, a little bluesier, organ, more, there's organ in the song as opposed to keyboards. So very early version of it in 1982, and they were still primarily an English blues band. But still, the only, the rest of the album, it's not my favorite Whitesnake album by any means, but from from wanting to have a complete collection standpoint, it was one that I had to have, hard to find, and I found it there, so I was pretty stoked about that. So, it was already a happy trip, even if I didn't find anything else I wanted. So there you go, Whitesnake, Saints and Sinners. But then I flip through the other section, the classic rock section, and I get to the Black Sabbath section, and I get to this gem here. So this is Black Sabbath's 1987 album, Eternal Idol. Now, for all you purists out there that can't hear anything beyond Ozzy or even Dio, they're like, 1987, like, oh, what kind of Black Sabbath album was that? Yes, it is a Black Sabbath album that's really just Tony Iommi and a list of what was probably salaried musicians. But this is a fantastic album. Again, I try to listen to music with my ears and not my eyes, and not always go into a preconceived notion of what it should sound like because of the name on the cover. If you do that, that's fine. You just want to hear a certain sound from your band, that's fine. Maybe he should have called it something else. Maybe he wanted to, but the record label said no. I don't know, but this is a really, really cool album. It definitely fits in the time. It's definitely, it's definitely, it could fit in with pretty much anything else hairband wise. It just has that very distinct Tony Iommi guitar tone on it. But this was the first album with singer Tony Martin, who would go on to sing on this plus 4 other Black Sabbath albums. You have Eric Singer on drums, who would later go on to be, who later go on and is currently the Catman in Kiss. So just an amazing, amazing record. I think, just for people that are fans of Sabbath beyond Ozzy Osbourne, Ronnie James Dio, or Ian Gillan, this is a really cool record. And the start of an era that I think just doesn't quite get enough attention. I understand why, because it's just Tony Iommi, but still, this was on my bucket list. This was an album I really wanted to have, so I was pretty stoked to get it. So Black Sabbath, Eternal Idol, check it out if you never have. All right, and last but not least, I actually did an unboxing an unboxing video on this album, but I figured I got it at the same store at the Classic Audio and Vinyl, so I thought I would just show it here, and that would be the Black Crowes 2001 album, Lions, which this is the 2020 Record Store Day reissue. At that point in time, I was very much against standing in line on Record Store Day. I've since let that go because this past Record Store Day on Black Friday of 2021, I actually picked up a couple of records that I really, really wanted. So, if there's stuff out there that I want on Record Store Day, then I guess I'll be willing to stand in line for it to get it. But this I didn't, and they were all gone. I thought I was the only person in the world that liked this particular Black Crowes album. Apparently I'm not. So very hard to find. I mean, you can find them on eBay or whatever, but they're pretty pricey. This one was too, but it was right there. It was right in my face. And it's like, oh my God, I could have it right now. At least with eBay and stuff, I kind of look at it and I'm like, I don't really want to pay that much for it, then have to wait and all. This, it was like instant gratification. It's like, okay, I'll go ahead and pay this ridiculous amount of money for this record, but boom, I have it right here. It's right in my face. So, again, the last thing that I picked up in Hendersonville in this case, and these last three records, the Sabbath, the Whitesnake, and the Black Crowes, were all picked up at Classic Audio and Vinyl. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time to just document the stuff that I picked up on my trip to North Carolina. Again, shout out to Citizen Vinyl, shout out to Static Age Vinyl, Harvest Vinyl, Voltage, and the biggest shout out of all, in my opinion, as far as their selection, was Classic Audio and Vinyl. That's it. If you're in Hendersonville, it's a great store. The dude behind the counter is super cool, super nice, super chill. He'll tell you stories about biker gang parties and shit. So, I don't know if that's Ken. I didn't really ask. But it's the same guy there like every day because I went there like 2 or 3 times. So, check him out. Check out the scene in Asheville. There's a bunch of different record stores and everything else. And there's probably several on the outskirts that I didn't check out, that maybe I'll check out next time. But again, that's all I've got for you today. Again, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new material. I've got my Unboxing the Vinyl series where we open up new records, reissues, box sets. Sometimes they're records, sometimes they're CDs like these ones behind me. I've got my Inside the Vinyl series where we talk about lost classics and live albums. I've got some live coverage out there from some different festivals. Welcome to Rockville, Exit 111, some Kiss footage, some different things hopefully coming down the pike. And last but not least, if you're into disc golf, I've got some very mediocre disc golf videos starring some very mediocre players, myself included. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Peace out. There you go, boy.